it's Snez here, and I'm hanging out with trainer Nathan, and we just, today Nathan wanted to talk to you about, we like to push our members to a certain point that's just outside their reach, and it's in that point in time where people get their results, because you and I know, understand the physiology of if you're not reaching beyond something that's challenging, the body doesn't really change. And all of those really fabulous results come from pushing just beyond that point. But we also do know that if you're putting yourself under too much stress and duress, and if it does feel way too hard, that it's really hard to keep going and continue with it. And I know that watching yourself particularly, you're really great at just finding that sweet spot. And I just wanted to just have a general chit chat about how do you find that spot for people where you can just sort of get them reaching beyond where they think they can achieve.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good point. I think there's a couple of factors that contribute to that. One is getting to know the people that you're working with and spending the time to work out what makes them tick, and how they perceive exercise to be and what they want to get out of it. And
because I guess people will all be motivated in different ways.
That's
really. Exactly
right.
Yeah.
Pain thresholds and all that sort of stuff. Who is willing to push past what point? So building relationships, I think, is probably one of the biggest factors in that. And the second is just experience. And I think the more people you work with, the different environments that you work with people in can aid that as well.
And so when you find that you're getting people to that point, so what makes you go, I know they can go one step further? What is it in what they're doing, or like how do you sort of be able to just push them outside? Because when you get them to that point, it's really the difference to leaving a workout going, that was okay, or leaving that workout going, I can't believe I conquered that. And it's just that power that comes, that when people feel that about themselves and they know that they can achieve different levels, that kind of spills out in all their areas of their life and pushes them, and that's what's really important, isn't it?
Well, I think in that regard, then it comes down to looking for signs of fatigue, and generally that comes in the form of bad form. So if you see someone that's had good form for the first few reps or few sets, and now they're starting to drop their knees a little bit more or around their back a little bit more, then you can recognise that, okay, then probably scale it back a little bit now. Or if their form's still good, then you know that there's still a little bit more, just a little bit more to push.
A little bit more. And so if you've got people working on their own, so people will be watching this that are part of the studio, what are some hints and tips that you can encourage them to do just to stretch them a little bit beyond their comfort zone?
Well, working in front of a mirror, I find, is good. Not only because you get to see your guns grow, but you get to monitor. You're able to look at the way your body's moving and watch your technique and make sure that it's sound. And put on some good music.
The music helps.
The music. I know for myself that when I run with music, I run faster than when I run without music.
But even when the music that you're playing in there, I can walk in, like I can hear it from my office in here. I know that there's some pretty awesomeness going on next door, depending on what you're playing. So that's a really good tip. And I think working in front of a mirror, sometimes people do avoid that, but you can watch your own technique drop. And how about the mindset stuff?
Mindset stuff, that's probably the hardest change to make. And once that change has been made, then results come, and they come in abundance. Any sort of negativity, you're constantly going to be butting your head up against the wall. If you're thinking, I've got to go to the gym, it's too hard, it hurts. If you're able to flick that switch from negative to positive about this actually feels good, like the pump, the blood running into your muscles feels good.
Absolutely.
This pain feels good.
This is what we were talking about in the
Yeah.
studio just yesterday, because as humans, we err towards being comfortable all
That's
the
right.
time.
Yeah.
And I know I'm a big fan of putting yourself in a little bit of discomfort, because the reality is that we grow when we are uncomfortable.
Yep.
And that's when the biggest growth occurs.
Yeah,
So,
you grow mentally, emotionally, physically. Any sort of good pain
yeah.
is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And because, as you said, that good pain, once we get through it, there's just that feeling of, wow, I can do that. So
and that's when that feeling of empowerment comes as well. When you think, oh, I really worked hard today, and I got and I didn't think I'd be able to do that weight, or I didn't think I'd be able to do that exercise or that number of reps. That's when that feeling of empowerment comes, and you feel awesome about yourself.
Absolutely, and I think that's the key to it, is going beyond what you thought you were capable of.
Yeah.
Because that can spill out in any areas of your life, as well, as we just said before, that if you're reaching towards a goal or something at work or wherever it is in your life, that if you go beyond what you think you're capable of, and it's really great to train that muscle in the gym or in your workouts, isn't it?
Yeah. Because, I mean, I've said this before, and it's a little bit cheesy, but your only limitations are the ones that you give yourself.
Absolutely.
And if you cap something in your mind as to, oh, I'm not going to be able to do 50 kilos, then you never will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Well, thank you for sharing today.
Pleasure.
And I'm sure people got something out of that.
I hope
and
so.
Jump on in and definitely go beyond what you think you're capable of.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Bye.